not for a lot of good things, but what are you going to do?
I must be missing out.
Yeah.
What do you got there?
Just wanted to go through a few things. Back on the SING or SRB contract, last meeting, after Councilwoman Alessia gave us an incorrect example of a capital improvement, I don't remember the person's name, got up and explained about an HVAC system that the SING Corporation put in, which is a capital improvement. And this is just for my own clarification. I've heard that that the town actually paid for that HVAC system. Is that true or false?
I don't know. I really don't know. Did we have?
I believe so.
Yes, okay.
I was the one who spoke.
Yeah, well, I'm sorry. It was Hal Mayer who gave the example.
Thank you.
And I realize things sometimes can be taken out of context. I was trying to give an example of something that would be considered a capital improvement and that was done at those premises, which I was aware of.
Okay.
Didn't have the contracts in front of me, don't have them now. I'm not trying to debate what the contractual significance any particular improvement was. I was just trying to give an example of things that are capital improvements and often are performed by a tenant and become property of the landlord.
Okay.
Right. Okay, but it was actually in the context of him being credited or paid back money if you were to terminate his license or lease. I know you corrected me several times that it was not a lease and it's a license,
Right,
but
right.
I read all the documents and actually they're referred to throughout the documents as leases.
There's no question it's a license agreement.
Okay. Well,
But I think getting back to what Hal is saying is, he wasn't advancing that to say that the HVAC was a capital improvement for which the licensee is entitled to reimbursement. He was just giving you an example of a capital improvement.
Okay, well thank you for clarifying that. And then my question regarding him, regarding that also was last meeting you acknowledged that the SING Corporation was in arrears. You didn't know how much that you were going to check on that and get back to me. So again, how far behind is he in his payments?
I'll do this from memory. I believe as of the end of July, he was almost current to Tobey. I think he was down about $10,000 at Tobey and about $65,000 at the golf course.
Okay.
And in the weeks or a couple of months leading up to that, he had made significant inroads into getting it down to those numbers.
Down to 65,000.
65 at the
golf course.
At the golf course and 10 at Tobey.
Okay. Now, in the agreement that I read that.
Make sure my memory is correct.
So how many months does that represent in payments, roughly? Educated guess.
I don't know. I'm not going to give you wrong information. Next meeting will be. I don't know.
Okay. Because in the contract that he signed with you, it specifically states that once he falls behind, the town must notify him and then give him 60 days to make whole. Otherwise, you can terminate the contract without paying him anything.
I believe we did. I believe we gave that.
So has it been more than 60 days?
I don't know the status of it, but our objective, our objective here, you got to keep in mind, we have I tried to explain this to you multiple times, and it seems like we go through the same dialogue every time we hear it. He has been a very, very good tenant. I don't know if you know the history of the golf course, but for many, many years prior to the advent of the SING organization, things really didn't go very well at the golf course. We went through a number of tenants, and along came SING, and we had a very, very good run with him. He delivered the services well. The public was just held him in, very high regard. Obviously, he has hit upon some very, very difficult financial circumstances, the extent to which I don't know that anybody in this room knows, other than what we've read. We don't treat him on the one hand like an old shoe and just discard him. I don't know where he's going with his financial woes or whether or not he can survive. We just don't know the answers to those questions yet, Bob.
Okay. But you've given him that 60 days notice, so.
I believe we have, yes. Yeah, Tom, right? I think we have.
Okay. That's all I have on that. Just a quick question for my understanding. The only public payroll that I'm able to access online or anywhere for the town of Oyster Bay is on Newsday's website, and it talks about, and it's really only current for 2012 payroll. But I know every town board member gets a salary of $57,000, I think $57,279. I was just curious why Councilman Muscarella is listed at $66,656.
I don't know the answer to that. I don't know. I can't really answer. You have to talk to Newsday.
Well, this is a database for every employee in the town.
Is the health buyback, the health insurance?
Okay, there you go.
Oh, so if you don't take health insurance, how much do you get paid? You get $10,000 for not taking the health
I
insurance?
don't know the exact amount, but that's.
So it's right, so that's why you get 10,000 more than everyone else.
What distinction was it?
We could all do that, but I don't, because but I think we could all do it.
Not that Councilman Muscarella is getting more than.
I mean, whatever the rules are, Bob.
Well, it says, it's actually listed as base pay.
That's not accurate.
Okay. No, okay. Is there a way to get a more current, up-to-date database?
Yeah,
Town make that public?
I don't know. Isn't it on, doesn't the state have a website with all the numbers too?
Okay. See through New York?
Isn't it? Yeah, I think
Okay,
so.
I'll check that out.
Yeah,
Thank
check
you.
it out.
Okay,
I've
thank
never
you.
utilized it, but people go to see through New York.
Yeah, I've used it. Okay. Yeah, see through New York. The question came up last week about the Republican clubs, the unregistered Republican clubs. Yours was one of them. Mr. Genova's was another one of them. And you had claimed that it was, you weren't claiming ignorance of the law as an excuse, and that you were looking into it. But one has that, you guys are both lawyers, right?
What guy?
John, you and Mr. Genova?
Oh, yeah, sure.
Okay, so, maybe just for help, I just did one quick Google search on the law. The law is pretty clear and straightforward, so just to help out.
Just tell us what the point is.
So,
I gotta stop you.
No.
Let me,
Okay.
this is
You're going
a
to scold me
public,
again?
well, this is what?
This is when you're going to scold me again to say?
No, I'm not gonna
talking
scold.
about-
I don't feel that. I don't feel like scolding. You got so defensive at the last meeting when we talked about school taxes, which you're responsible for. You got all upset. You gave yourself away, so now we know that.
Okay.
In fact, I got more I want to ask you about
There you go.
on a tweet you made. But having said that,
You read my tweets?
oh, sure I do.
Oh, that's great, thank you.
I read like you do.
Excellent.
Yeah, it is excellent.
You should follow me.
Well, I don't want to get that close. Quite frankly, I've seen enough. But, and I'll share some of those with everybody in a minute. But having said that, this is a public comment period where residents are asked to come forward if they wish and discuss town issues. It's really not a political playground time.
Well, these are.
You'll have ample time in your literature and your TV ads and whatever you're going to do to advance your campaign to lay all this out. But I really think talking about Republican clubs is really not appropriate.
Well,
for
it
the
is.
public comment.
It is.
No, I don't
because-
think.
No, I disagree with you because. Right, because you were the primary recipient of funds from Mr. Genova's unregistered Republican
Oh, we
club.
went through this.
So what I'd like to do is ask you, since that was technically an illegal contribution, which I'll consider political money laundering, for lack of a better explanation. I'd like to ask you to return that money, because it was, there's no way anyone could ever know where that money came from.
Whatever remedy it is you're seeking is not with this town board. It's with the Board of Elections. I've said this over and over and over again. There's been no direction from the Board of Elections as to what are the ramifications of a donee who accepts money from an unregistered political organization. They haven't made that
There are,
determination.
from New York State, pretty clear laws.
But the
You don't have to be a lawyer to understand.
No. But the interpretation of that law and the enforcement of that law is not up to this town board or you for that matter. It's up to the Board of Elections. The Board of Elections is aware of all of these situations. I told you there were hundreds of clubs involved in this, not just the two clubs that you're mentioning, from all walks of the political life. And it's been a problem since the founding in 2006, and we need to await the findings of the Board of Elections.
So,
this is the second or third time we've done this thing.
second or third? Really? No, I've never asked you to return the money, so it's your
Oh,
intention.
so maybe the first time you asked me to return the money, but it's the second and third time we had to go through
So
this.
you have no intention to return the money?
I have to await the findings of the board. I don't even know what money you're talking about.
Next question. You have an office here, correct?
Yes.
Is that where what percentage of your time is spent conducting town business in your office?
I spend most of my time over in North Massapequa.
Would that be on North Broadway?
Yes, I've identified this at 838 North Broadway.
Is that a town office, or is that like a campaign?
No, that is paid for through my political arm.
Through your political office. And you conduct town business there?
Yes.
Okay. So that's really an office for campaigning, but why do you choose to work out of a campaign office?
It becomes an office for campaigning during the election cycle.
Right.
But I use it all year round, 12 months out of the year, 365 days a year. It's available to me if I choose.
Right.
To do whatever
It's
business.
just a storefront.
It's a storefront, yeah.
Right. Okay. Now, Newsday, with regard to Commissioner Ippolito, is he? I've just kind of heard rumors, so I don't believe rumors. Is he taking a leave from the town?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay. So he's still fully employed. I understand his house is up for sale. Still fully engaged with the town?
Yes.
Okay. Why is it that today is day 92 that Newsday has requested documents on Commissioner Ippolito, and they've yet to receive a response?
I'll let Newsday come forward and ask if they care to. They have remedies that they can pursue if they feel that they're. This is a document request by way of FOIL.
FOIL, yes.
All right. There are remedies if they feel FOIL hasn't been complied with. I don't think the remedy is having you come up and ask, but if you feel charged with that duty, the answer is let them.
Well, as a reader of Newsday, and when they're making that information public, I certainly have the right to ask that question.
No, I said you didn't have the right to ask the question. I just answered it for you.
Okay.
Newsday knows what remedies they can pursue if they feel that they have a FOIL request that hasn't been responded to for whatever reason.
All right, just back on your off where you primarily work on North Broadway. You get a car from the town, correct?
Correct.
Do you have a driver?
No, not really. Only for certain events.
Just for certain events?
Yeah, certain events where you have maybe parking problems, things like that.
Okay.
I prefer to drive alone.
Okay, thank you.
Wait, don't go away. I'll have to ask you something. I tend to verify my information before I put it out.
Do you?
Yeah, I did find something. I just, not even asking for your comment on it. I just want to know if these go works before I go out and utilize them. It says, this is a tweet from you. Doesn't a tax cap on schools seem undemocratic? 96% of school budgets passed on Long Island. Why can't the voters continue to make the decision? Just want to know if that's your statement in
What's the date on that?
May 28th of 2011.
2011, okay.
You want to see?
No, I believe you. I was never in favor of the tax cap.
The school district?
But it's a
Okay, you know
law.
what, never mind, that's
It's a
good.
law, but it's a law, because, well, no, I know you want to get this out, so you can stick it to me.
Okay, dig your grave deeper. I'm more than happy to.
Well, I think you've dug it, you've certainly dug it. I've dug your grave quite a bit with all
I'm
this.
more than happy to listen to you.
Well, before I get that, I actually had one more question. Any comment on the Supreme Court decision that was written about the affordable housing that
I
was
think
ruled
I
against?
gave all my comments to Newsday.
So you think the court was wrong? And
I think I gave my comments to Newsday to speak for themselves.
I didn't see it, so could you
Well,
refresh me?
I didn't commit the article to memory, you can go look it up.
So what's your feeling on it?
I just said to you, I gave all my comments to
So
you.
you don't want to answer me?
I stand by them. I am answering you. Go look at the Newsday article, you read everything else in Newsday.
Okay. Okay, let me explain to you something about tax caps, particularly with
I'd love to hear
school
it.
districts. Are you aware of retirement systems called the Teachers Retirement Systems, the ERS, which is the Employer Retirement Systems? Are you aware of those things?
Sure.
So like teachers are in one system, everyone else basically is in another system. That, unfortunately, at that time when that quote was said, was part of a cap where school districts were having to pay 18 and 20% of an employee's salary, and yet they were still, so if you look at a typical school district, almost 90% of their yearly budgets are based, come from salaries and benefits and pensions.
Probably less than ours, by the way. But
No, it's not.
Oh, you know what?
But,
We're gonna, in the months ahead, we're gonna have fun with this because one of your running mates has run in town before, and we've had this discussion about comparing fiscal responsibility, salaries, and what they are, the number of employees. So we're gonna have a lot
Well,
of
good.
fun.
Come out against public school systems. I'm sure that'll do you a lot of good. Come out against teachers.
Nice
Come
try.
out against,
Very nice.
that'll do really well for you.
Very nice try, Bob, and I'm gonna finish my statement anyway.
Okay, I'm sure you will.
Everyone who's been in this room before, and don't go away, man, just go away.
I'm not dead.
I just want to be clear on this, because many of the people in this room probably have heard me say it before, and it's on the record. I could not be more satisfied with my school district. Mine happens to be Farmingdale. I think I made it clear in the past that in a 23-year period, my town taxes have gone up $700, and my school district taxes have gone up over $6,000 in that same period of time.
Actually, John, I looked up your house, John, and that wasn't true either.
And I have no complaints at all. And the school districts were wonderful for my children, wonderful investment people for me, wonderful investment people for me. And I couldn't be happy with the teachers, the administration, what have you. But what does upset me a little bit is when a school board member, in this case, Mr. Freier, who you just met, comes forward and tries to tell us in the town of Oyster Bay about fiscal responsibility and how to run a budget and how to spend your money when their salaries in the school districts not even compare. They are so off the charts, it's not even funny. We've gone through this analysis, we're going to do it again in the fall. My last opponent, political opponent, was a school board member in the very same school district in which I live, of all things. And it was kind of embarrassing to watch him admit he wasn't even aware of how many employees in the school district went beyond a certain level, and it was a level that the town of Oyster Bay salaries didn't even approach. So someone can come up here and say, well, they're making us do it, mandates. Well, we have the same mandates, and we managed to do it as well, too. And I think to say that the tax cap shouldn't apply to the school district, well, like I said, we'll let the public decide when the time comes.